any instruments where you stop the notes with your fingers in Europe. That notion was most likely brought by the Moors when they invaded. They brought the oud, which is that instrument hanging on the wall, and only the oud in those days was made with a gourd instead of the whole technique of using ribs for the back that they make out of now. And so, but Europeans in the meantime didn't come up with this whole thing, so that you have 6 strings, but nothing like the guitar. And all the strings rest on the wheel, or at least you can actually choose to have them rest on the wheel or not, by moving them close or pulling them away with these little places where you can pull the string away from the wheel.
Okay.
And so the wheel's attached to a shaft, which is then this handle's molded. And as you turn that, it's sort of like a wooden bow, but then you wrap cotton around the string right where it meets the wheel, and because without that you don't get enough friction.
Okay.
And then there's rosin on the wheel just like you would have on a bow.
Sure.
And so and then these 2 strings disappear into this box that has all these little tangents, and they touch the string so that you end up in effect bringing the fret to the string as opposed to bringing the string to the fret like you would on a guitar.
Okay.
So and then there's a little percussive element, which is really fun, which is one of these strings, this drone, so we have drone strings. So people say, oh, it sounds like a bagpipe. Well, that's because that's one of the few early instruments left that people have heard. Because in the old days, before the advent of the tempered scale, people didn't have chord harmony, even in Europe. So when you hear, by that I mean people just didn't play chords. They didn't play large clusters of notes together, and that really came along just before the Baroque era, where they came up with what we know as the tempered scale, which is our modern musical system. So you have I just have a melody moving over a drum.
Right.
And but then this instrument, one of the drone strings is hooked to this little loose piece of wood, and I can adjust how much tension is against that loose piece of wood with this little tuner here. So that when I can then delineate a rhythm. 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.